Today's episode of This Week in Startups is brought to you by SurveyMonkey. Go to try.surveymonkey.com/twist and sign up for a free trial. And MailChimp. Manage lists with up to 2,000 subscribers and send 12,000 emails per month for free with MailChimp.
Hey everybody, it's Friday, so it's our news roundtable on This Week in Startups. Jon Ferrara, the founder of Nimble, is here again. What a great guest he's been. William Quigley, the venture capitalist from Clearstone. Always great insights. I mean, we got some heavy hitters here. Lon Harris is going to read the news. Tyler's going to give us some insights. We've got a lot to discuss. Stick with us.
That's what it's all about, man. They said money is the root of all evil. What? Funny how it feeds my people. Yeah. We ain't gonna live like equals until we get the money, spend the money, and defeat you. Yeah. Money is the root of all evil. What? Funny how it feeds my people. Yeah. We ain't gonna live like equals until we get the money, spend the money, and defeat you.
Introducing the newest members of the This Week in Startups producer program.
Look at all those amazing new members of TWiST.co. Thank you for supporting the program, you guys. It's very important. Hey, if it's your first time, my name is Jason Calacanis. I am a serial entrepreneur. I have gotten my ass kicked. I have kicked ass. I have invested in companies. I've sold companies. I've failed. And that's what this program is about. Entrepreneurship, startups, technology, the whole shebang. If you want to be a samurai, not a rice picker, this is the program for you. If you'd like to be a rice picker, go watch This Week in Drones, rice pickers, people who just punch a clock. This is for people who want to be samurai, Jedi, change the world, move the human species forward. With me today, William Quigley, venture capitalist extraordinaire from Clearstone. Thanks for being on the program. You've been a venture capitalist for 75 years now. How many years have you been a venture capitalist? It's a long time.
95.
Since 95?
16.
16 years in the venture business,
yes.
Huge hits. PayPal, yes. I think, was probably on the top of that list.
From a return perspective, it wasn't. It was Overture.
Oh. Overture, yes, which everybody knows. Overture became Yahoo Ads, but was the original AdSense. Yes,
it was the, God, I hate when you put it that way. Bill Gross, who founded Overture, invented pay per placement click. Yeah. And then Google stole it. Stole the concept, we sued them, settled for about $1 billion.
Right, I remember you guys got Google shares, is that correct? Or did Yahoo got Google shares?
The eventual acquirer of Overture got Google shares.
Right,
that was Yahoo.
And that was Yahoo's best quarter, they got like $1 billion.
There's an interesting way, no one really understands this or thinks about it, but the reality is Yahoo effectively got Overture for free. They valued the settlement at 0 when they acquired Overture. And then they got Google shares.
That went 5x.
Yeah, so they bought it for free. They actually got paid to take it.
Wow.
And it's the only thing of value in the whole business.
Isn't business amazing?
It is.
Wow. Jon Ferrara, you were just a guest on the program. Of course, people know you're a serial entrepreneur. And boy, was there great feedback on your episode. Have you gotten some feedback?
It was one of our best lead gens we've ever done. So
really?
Yeah, we just got incredible feedback. And it wasn't just the leads, it was actually the evangelical feedback of your audience, who really dug the real raw nature of the interaction we had that day.
Sure.
And they loved the story.
Yeah.
And the heart.
The currency of the program, I always tell people, is authenticity, and I always give people that little speech before the program starts. Hey, be as honest as you can, be as real as you can, tell the truth so that you can help other entrepreneurs. And we had that talk, and you brought it, and I think you're one of the lead candidates for Guest of the Year. With all those great stories from Goldmine. Lon Harris, you're here to read the news.
I am.
How are you doing?
Very well.
Actually, you guys are on remote. Where are you and Tyler?
we're in Big Bear, California. We're enjoying.
You guys are in Big Bear. We set up the fiber line.
Yeah.
No, you guys got DSL or something out there. What do you got?
Whatever
Cable
they've got
modem?
up here.
Satellite.
Yeah. We're plugged
Satellite?
in.
Oh,
it was a dial-up. It's a 56K.
56K.
We might go in and out a little bit.
Out in the Big Bear. And how's Ranker doing?
Ranker's doing great.
I mean, an amazing domain name. But when are you guys going to redesign the site? I feel like it it needs a little facelift.
We just launched a sort of a tweak to the UI yesterday, actually. So if you haven't taken a look today, please do take a look.
How's
We
the SEO
redid
doing
the
there?
vote buttons. The SEO is doing very well. We're up. Search is about 3x searches up
since you joined.
Since I
of course you learned from the
in the
Jedi
last
Master.
year. I had there's a little sliver before.
You learned
me.
from the Jedi Master of SEO.
I learned a lot. I learned a lot working at Mahalo, and a lot of the game plays that we ran at Mahalo, I'm sort of running in.
Playbook is there. Very good. Glad to hear that. And we have a full day of news. Tyler Crowley, you're of course here as well.
Yes.
How are you doing?
Great. But
Awesome.
Ranker also one of the only companies that I'm aware of that actually benefited from Panda.
Yes.
Wow.
We saw traffic, our traffic has grown considerably since the Panda update.
I hate you. All right.
So, like Danny Sullivan.
But hey, here's something you guys won't hate. MailChimp. That's the end of the advertisement. I mean, what do you need to know? At this point, MailChimp is rock solid. It's a beautiful, beautiful product. Go use it. They have over 1 million users now. The free plan is always free. 12,000 emails a month, 2,000 subscribers. I have to say, even Nimble sent me an email the other day.
We use it.
You do?
We do.
Perfect. See, that makes it easy. So Nimble sent me an email saying, here's what you need to do today. You know, I signed up for Nimble after the thing. I started playing with it. I'm really getting interested in it. And it was like, hey, it's these people's birthday. These people changed jobs.
Yeah.
Very slick. Like, if I was a sales guy, I would go do this stuff.
Well, what it does is it re-engages you with your network, right? Because right now today, to find out the job change, you have to go to LinkedIn. To find out the birthdays, you got to go to Facebook.
Right.
To find out where your deals are, you got to go to Salesforce.
Right.
What Nimble does is brings all that together, your relationships, your sales, your marketing, and what it does is it re-engages you back to our platform. So every time we send you that email, you're coming back and putting your eyeballs on our platform.
It is in a way the way you draw people back into the product.
Yeah.
Because you know that email is going to stay the same for the rest of their lives. And that's what people forget. Everybody's so caught up in social media. Oh, Twitter, Facebook, Google+, the chill.com room, all these things. They're growing, they're doing great. Sure, you want to engage those. The holy grail is getting that goddamn email address. Once you got that, you got them for life. Because they don't change when's the last time you changed your email address? You're probably using that Yahoo one. I was just talking to some bigwig CEO of a public company, and I was like, you really have to get rid of this Yahoo email address. You get a goddamn Gmail address. You look like you're got having a Yahoo email address the equivalent of having an AOL one now?
I don't know if it's quite that bad, but
it's getting close. It's getting close.
Hotmail is the other one I think of where it's like,
oh God,
no,
and everybody with Hotmail is getting hacked.
If a girl gives you her Hotmail email address,
yeah, you got a problem. Yeah, move on. Move on.
I had an AOL one about a month ago.
We still get AOL.
The point is, bringing it all back to MailChimp. It's a great product, and they've designed it with awesome, awesome emotion, and the design will just suck you in. It's beautiful. It's a great product to use. And if you're just, let's say you don't even care about email, but you want to learn how to make a great product. The guy, Aaron, who's the design guy over there, he's brilliant. And he designs with emotion. That's a phrase you're going to hear more and more about. Fred Wilson blogging about it. He's been blogging about it. Designing to evoke an emotion and to make connection with people. That's what it's all about. MailChimp does that in their product, and they teach you how to do it in email. You guys know this because I engage you guys with email all the time. Go use MailChimp, and if you're a fan of the program, please thank @MailChimp on your Twitter account. Lon, tell us what's in the news.
VC Marc Andreessen reportedly considering taking on a significant role on the board, possibly even chairman at Yahoo, should the effort by private equity firm Silver Lake to take over a portion of the company succeed. He initially joined the Silver Lake effort to purchase part of the troubled portal in September, and he assisted in the Yahoo Skype deal. Currently, Andreessen runs the Andreessen Horowitz venture capital firm with Ben Horowitz. In the past, he's been a little bit grim on the prospect of Yahoo's turning itself around. There's also been a little bit of concern being thrown around that Andreessen's friend and Yahoo founder Jerry Yang may object to the move, fearing that there might be some sort of a power struggle in the works. So do you think he's the man for this job, and would his reinvigorated Yahoo make a play for AOL?
This is a big question. What do you guys think?
I think that right now Jerry Yang's trying to retain control of the company. He's going to do whatever he can to keep it. And he's got this pipe deal where he wants to sell shares to private equity, take that money, buy back stock. And what that's going to do is drive down the value of those shares for the employees who are already leaving in droves. And so Mark's thinking about coming in, and I think there's nobody smarter than than Marc in this space. And yeah. So if anybody can go in there and make something happen, I believe in it. But I worry about what the upside is for Marc, right? I mean, the downside is he goes in there and it doesn't work. And a lot of people have tried with Yahoo.
It goes sideways for a decade.
Right.
And he spent 10 of his precious hours a week on it.
And when I think about Yahoo, I think it's so old school, right? And you go there, it looks like a site from the 70s. Right. But the power of the eyeballs on that site are still incredible, right? So they got the traffic, they got an ability. What they need is a CEO who's young, who gets it, who can update it, and actually start getting something that drives people. And you know who I think is the best man for the job? Jeff Weiner, CEO of LinkedIn. He knows that property. He used to be an executive there, and they can't get him back, but if they could, I think he could do wonders with that company.
Yeah, and you have Dan Rosenwig, who was now running Chegg, I guess, and he was in line. They had this great young, tier of executives that they just drove out of the company, put Carol Bartz in, and it's a sort of putting in professional managers over and over again, as opposed to having a young, product-driven person with some vision.
Exactly.
What do you think?
I don't think Andreessen is smart about this, actually. I don't. First of all, let's not call him a venture capitalist. He's more of he's a capitalist, right? Right. His biggest deals are really centered around companies that are fairly large.
Right. You mean Skype?
Yes, Skype.
And a big flip there.
Yes.
Nice.
Made $1 billion. What did he make? $1 billion for his firm in a couple of days?
A little more than a couple of days, but yeah, I made a lot.
Felt like a couple of days. In venture years, 1 year is a day.
What I would say about it is, Yahoo is certainly not a Skype. Skype was a single-focused product company, growing very rapidly, the world's largest phone company, right? All in a way, a very simple business to understand, right? Yahoo is I don't know what. Yahoo is an internet company, and that's probably as defined as I can make it. So now it'd be a way different thing if he were acquiring it for, let's say, $2 billion. I think that'd be really interesting. They're going to buy in at $20 to $25 billion market cap. So where is this going? It's going to go to 50? I mean, you're going to need to at least do a 2x to make it worth your time. Right. Without any plan and without a CEO, you're going to bring in a CEO upon doing this, which means you really don't know what the end game is. I think, like a lot of old school companies, and in the internet lifespan, Yahoo is about as old as they get. They generally are not able to reinvent themselves. They maybe find a smaller niche and they milk it for a while. That's what I see happening with Yahoo. So,
it's like the AOL asset in a way, or eBay. It's going to go sideways, maybe moderately up, maybe significantly down.
Yeah, because what is it about? It's about finding the next great big thing to build on. Yeah. Well, when you have all of these disparate businesses, 70 or so within Yahoo, what core team within Yahoo is going to take that and build into the next great wave? Right. They're going to get into gaming. They did a lot of stuff in gaming early on. Well, that's now social gaming is already a lot of more players in the market. They're not going to be a Facebook.
They're not going to catch up with that. But what about video? Because they had all this video under Terry Semel. They had all these big plans. They shut it all down under Carol Bartz. Now they're lighting it all back up. I happen to know from personal engagement with the company. And is it possible that they could become a viable video coexister to a YouTube or a Hulu?
And I would say
with all that traffic,
and they'd be worth,
seems like an easy play to me.
$1 billion. That's great. They'd be worth kind of what a Hulu's worth. Right. The content's very expensive to acquire now. Has anyone looked at Netflix's stock, recently? Content's super expensive, and for the most part,
so there's no hope for Yahoo. Why would Andreessen get involved? Maybe
I wouldn't say there's no hope. I would just say, little hope. If you're buying in at $25 billion, right? Wow. I mean, you're going to want to. I would think now it's possible they have a grand plan. Right. We just
sell off give Alibaba back their stake. Yeah. Now it's a $15 billion company or $10 billion company.
Right. So if you take the let's face it, all the assets that are worth something are out of the U.S. So if you take those and then they say we're going to sell these pieces and we're going to wind up owning 50 or 60 odd companies that we essentially own for free, and then we'll just parse them out. That might be the plan. Right. I just don't know if I would be willing to take that risk on such a high valuation.
The good news for Marc Andreessen is he is playing with other people's money. He has the most, in terms of the industry, people have the most respect for him. He's become a legend at the age of 40 now in the industry. He has the ability to raise any amount of money and do anything he wants with it. I mean, his fund was raised under this sort of opportunistic umbrella. Yes. Do what you want, Mark. We trust you. And so he could buy the thing for $10 billion, writing off or selling back the other $15 billion in assets. Now he's got this base of operations in which to plug in other opportunities.
His fund is I think is a very interesting concept. Yeah. It's part incubator, it's part kind of turnaround private equity where you have a staple of operating partners to help you with the companies, and then it's opportunistic. I'm pretty sure he doesn't call himself a venture capitalist in the traditional sense of the word, where he's
a capitalist, like you said.
He's a capitalist. It's an opportunity fund. Hey,
but he gets technology, unlike the other guys in the space, and he might be able to plug in other assets and then grow them.
What is he doing involved with HP though at this point?
I think
what a time waste.
Well, for Mark, I think that so many opportunities appeared for him. Like, let's face it, there's all these big companies that are a mess.
Yeah.
And then how many people in Silicon Valley understand this big change who don't have a day job as CEO, right? So Reed Hastings, spoken for, and Zuckerberg or Evan Williams, all these people are spoken for, they're doing something. But then you have Mark who said, I don't want to ever be a CEO again.
Yeah.
I don't want that job, it sucks. It's too painful. I want to be an advisor, a chairman, whatever. So now he's the go-to guy. Hey, let's just, give this asset to him. He'll sprinkle the Marc Andreessen pixie dust and it'll be okay. And you know what? He's got a pretty great track record.
That's what makes venture that's what makes his departure from being a venture guy so interesting to me, is because pretty much any out-of-the-box deal, you'll put him pretty high up in who I should call first.
Yeah.
Whereas VCs typically say, this is what we do, it's got to be in this box. If it's not in that box, I don't even want to think about it.
They have a thesis or a theory or something about what they're supposed to do, but look, he's on the board of Facebook, he's on the board of HP, and he's got hundreds, he's got eBay, he's got billions of dollars laying around. Anytime he wants $1 billion, he can just ask one of these private equity. Just, hey, give me $1 billion, give me $5 billion. So he's the center of the universe. And you know what? He gets it into his orbit. Well, maybe there's a pretty reasonable argument good things could happen. I don't know if this is a good move or not for him because it could be a massive time suck. Tyler, what do you think?
No matter what happens, though, isn't it the case that the best that could happen out of Yahoo is better candlesticks?
I'm sorry, wait a second. Your insight is the best that can happen. This is an insight. Better candlesticks.
Yes.
Insight from Tyler.
Better candlesticks. And I think what you mean by better candlesticks is the candlestick has essentially been perfected for a long time. How is it going to get any better?
We've got things more interesting than candles to deal with at this point. But
why would you go back in time and try to make the candlestick better when you could be working on some other lighting system made out of some better technology?
We need LED.
Right. And you're going back and saying, hey, let's make a better fax machine.
Yes.
It's like making a better fax machine.
Yes.
That's what you're saying.
Yes.
Right? But you're saying better candles. Yes. All right, let's do the next news story. Thanks, Tyler. What a great contribution you've made.
My point is, I'm not even interested who goes in to fix Yahoo. It's like, what's going to come out of it that's of any interest?
This is one of the peculiar aspects of our industry now, which is an asset gets so big that it has this inertia that even with 10 years of people trying to screw up Yahoo, just absolute mishap, misstep, year after year after year for a decade, it's still important and big. Yeah. I mean, how long does it even, and look at PayPal. eBay, it's just not focused on it for a decade, and it's just growing like a juggernaut, and to the point at which it's obviously a better asset than eBay itself. I mean, who the hell wants this garbage auction company in 2011? Obviously, PayPal is the asset there.
Well, I'm just going to share one idea.
It's scale.
There's a company called IBM that everybody thought was old school, right? And this company was a big iron company.
Right.
And they absolutely reinvented themselves.
Yeah, we're just going to do consulting.
Right.
We're going to be PricewaterhouseCoopers, Ernst & Young, Gartner, whatever.
And they're kicking butt.
Just a cash flow machine.
Right. And so I think there's an opportunity. And I think with the right vision, with the right leader, and with somebody with a visibility like Mark, who's outside and can see a lot of different things and can put the right resources in there, it could happen.
If they put a product person in, and we've talked about it just for 2 years on this program, if you put a salesperson in the top slot, expect better sales and a better relationship with Madison Avenue, but don't expect better products. Yep. And as a matter of fact, expect worse products because the salespeople are going to bastardize your products. Yep. If you put a professional operations person in place, expect better earnings, expect a better process, expect more efficiency, but don't expect better product. Yep. And expect the product people to leave because you're not paying attention to them. You're paying attention to who you can fire on their teams.
So my tip to Mark is Jeff Weiner.
Yeah, it's not a bad, it's a good call. It's a good call, I think. All right, let's do the next news story.
So we got a lot of Groupon news to get through. Been a tough week for their stock, tumbled by nearly half after a quick post-IPO surge. As of last night, it was off nearly 15% from the original IPO price of $20. However, it doesn't look all bleak for the company at this point. October data reveals that the company grew 22% in the first month of the fourth quarter, driven in particular by the company's new travel product, Groupon Getaways. Getaways experienced over 150% growth in gross billings, now accounts for more than 12% of the company's total North American business. In total, Groupon generated $176 million in gross North American billings in October, up from $144 million just the month before. The only other thing to remember about Getaways that I want to add in, their take rate, normally between 40 and 45% for standard Groupon deals, only about 20% for Getaway sales. So you think the stock is going to go back to where it was post-IPO anytime soon?
The Getaway deals, though, are more... They're bigger than $40 spa treatments or $25.
Well, that's why it's sort of taken off so big so fast. There's much more than the $30 at
I think it's a great brand. I think consumers love it, and I think that despite all the valuation issues and all the weird taking a lot of money off the table, it is a brand that feels to me like people love it so much that it will be here 10 years from now. What do you guys think?
I like to be on the street. I like to ask people. I ask business owners. I ask consumers who buy it. And the feedback that I get is that the business owners that have used Groupon, what they do is they get a pile of business that they're not making any money on, and it keeps them busy, not able to actually focus on customers that they can make money with. One thing. The consumers that buy it, what happens is they buy these things and they don't use them. Right? So it's just like any other coupon. Yeah, you lose it, you don't use it. And the feeling that I get from the things I hear about the call center at Groupon, the salespeople and things, it's like it's not the kind of culture I'd want to work at.
Pump and dump, maybe?
I'm not saying that, but what I'm saying is that
you're alluding to that. I think we all hear behind the lines that maybe it's too sales driven and not enough consumer and customer driven.
That's it.
Part of their onboarding in hiring people is they have you watch Boiler Room.
Really?
No.
Really? Wow.
I'm just kidding.
I was about to say, I think that's a great idea. Wow.
I worked in a call center once.
Yes.
I used to work in a newspaper call center.
You got us. So that's pretty good, Will.
And I've never sold copier toner, but I get that feeling.
Yeah.
It's okay. Well, interesting.
Interesting. An alert reader actually sent me this just before the show. They're actually being investigated right now by the UK Office of Fair Trading, which is launching an investigation saying they don't like a lot of their practices in terms of consumers, not the sales side, but for the consumers. Like they're saying they don't conduct promotions fairly, they don't make the terms and conditions clear, they exaggerate savings claims, and sometimes it's. A recent complaint was that a discount cosmetic surgery Groupon said this group says it was pressuring consumers into hurriedly making a potentially life-changing decision. So there's a lot of criticism.
Yeah, I don't know if I would have put the breast augmentation half. I don't know if you want to buy the half-price nose job.
But how can you
pay for one, you get the other free?
You can't even take the UK seriously. They don't even have an embassy in Iran.
Right.
So how important can they be? I would say for Groupon, they've already won, right? They got $700 million when they did their IPO or thereabouts.
People cashed out a ton of stock.
They have a currency now. I mean, anything above a couple of $1 billion market cap is pretty darn impressive.
Right.
I think theirs is somewhere around 10 billion maybe.
Yeah, 12 actually now that it
went
back up.
I mean, now if they're smart, they're going to take that wampum because it's questionable what the real long-term value of that is.
The monopoly money, the funny money.
Yeah, and they're going to say, how can we convert that into something important to augment onto our business?
Buy somebody with real revenue.
Got 200 million emails, right? Most of those come with credit cards. I mean, that's a valuable asset.
They could buy the New York Times for $2 billion and make it free.
I think they got a great brand.
Yeah.
They just need to figure out what to do with it beyond this coupon idea.
The question I think you're posing is 10 years from now, that's so far, who knows. But in the next few years, will people get kind of tired of responding to the Groupon deal, knowing that they didn't convert or didn't use the last coupon. I think that part they're going to have to evolve.
See, what I think they should do is they should guarantee with the coupons that if you don't use it, you get Groupon. You get, I don't know, 60% Groupon credit, 50% Groupon credit. So at any point in time, actually, this would be a brilliant move for them. At any point in time, you can take an existing Groupon, cancel it, and put 50 cents on the dollar into your account.
Yeah,
because then the business still gets their 50 cents, and Groupon's just saying, hey, you know, it's just like it's a kill fee.
So what happens to Living Social? Do they go public?
I think Living Social gets bought by Amazon. I mean, Amazon already put $100 million in. I think that's I think they filed to go public, and then Amazon and Google fight it out for who gets to buy it. But Google's going into this business. I think commerce has changed, and public consumption has changed in a way with this frugality that, you know, there's always some deal to be had. They took what was a private haggling experience and they made it into, you know, a sort of a lasting consumer value proposition, a process where I don't have to beg for 2-for-1 dinners and look like a cheapskate. I don't see how it goes away because a third of businesses, local businesses, will always be struggling. And despite the fact that, yes, some of them say, hey, I got overwhelmed or it wasn't worth it, they're still lining up for 6 months, 9 months, 12 months for Living Social and Groupon on the waiting lists.
It's not going to go away.
Right.
Yeah.
So I think
it'll find its right value.
Right. And I think the 50-50 deal is part of the problem. And I think the discount is too steep. I think if they shot for 35 or 40% off, and then instead of trying to take half of it from the vendor, they said we're going to take a third of it, then it would start to feel a little bit better for the vendors.
I don't know how much of their valuation assumes success in China. But I believe that will be a tough road to hoe at this point, given that there's thousands of Groupon competitors, and the model is very different now too in China.
One thing that always ensures success is asking your customers for feedback, and that's why you need to use SurveyMonkey. Was that a pretty good transition?
Good.
I felt like I did okay. Have you guys ever used SurveyMonkey or done a SurveyMonkey?
Yes, I have.
You have too?
Yes.
How about you guys?
I just filled one out this morning.
Okay, so there you have it, folks. 5 out of 5 people in this room use SurveyMonkey. Everybody uses SurveyMonkey. It's a great product. I've been using it for a long time. You know how the program works. In the off chance it's your first time watching this program, Tyler and I made a list of the 30, 40 products that we use all the time. We gave that to Mo, the super sales guy, Mo 3000. He's the robot guy who says, Jason, can you make sure that you give a great plug for SurveyMonkey? They're really, they want you to mention. And it's like every time I walk out of the studio.
He loves that impression. He loves it.
Jason, I just think that you're like the Michael Jordan of reading ads. It's like, I feel like Scottie Pippen in a way. Like he's just like delusional. Anyway. SurveyMonkey is awesome. I've been using it for years, and I just did a bunch of surveys because I had a conference, and then we did the Eric Ries thing here live on the Lean Startups. You know what we do? Immediately, I tell my people, make a survey, send it to people. Why? Let's get the truth on how to make the products we build better. And I cannot tell you how many companies don't take the simple step of asking people, how good is our product? How can we make it better? Do this all the time. That's what the Lean Startup Movement's about, and that's what SurveyMonkey is about. Surveying your customers to make better products, and the free plan gives you 10 questions and 100 responses per survey. So go try it, go use it, and the thing I love about it best right now is they have a survey bank, a question bank. You can just go in there, and if you don't know how to properly phrase these questions, like you're not like an expert on it, you say, hey, I want to just rate the product. So you say, I want to rate Nimble, Okay, go ahead. Here's a bunch of questions, and here's how to give the responses. Like I never know how to do that. Somewhat satisfied, totally satisfied. I don't know how to phrase that.
And they even design the forms for you.
The forms are designed, and then if you have the paid product, which is super affordable, you can direct them after they fill out the survey to whatever page you want. So that's just amazing. Like you took the survey, and now I'm upselling you on something. That's the best time, right? If you tried out Nimble or some product and then said, hey, at the end, thank you for filling out our survey, 20% discount. Hey, that's going to be a pretty good chance of those people then re-engaging your product. Trust me on this. It's another one of these great products that I've been using for years. I'm the luckiest guy on the planet. Why? I got all these great people around me, and they support me to do what I do here. I mean, I'm going to start crying. I mean, my life is so amazing. I got Tyler, I got Lon. Look at these guys. They're like, oh my God, here goes Jason. Can we go back to that shot for a second? There's some smiles. I got Tyler and Lon here supporting the hell out of the show. And then I got these great, guests, and then I got the great sponsors who make it all possible. If you could see the amount of equipment, there's $100 grand in equipment in this room. I couldn't do this without all the 8 people around me. I mean, I know I look like, I do a great job on the show. It's all based on the guests, and getting the guests requires booking the guests. You wouldn't believe how much work that is. I mean, we have to book 2 shows a week. I have a full-time booker. It wouldn't be possible without SurveyMonkey. Thank you, SurveyMonkey, for sponsoring it.
It's also fair to say, too, right, that sponsors don't have to have a primate name in order to be on your show.
It's very helpful, though. It's very helpful.
Okay.
Yeah, and I've been talking to Jon about Nimble. We may make it Monkey Nimble. Monkey contacts. We're thinking orangutan contacts.
Did I tell you we integrate with MailChimp?
You do?
Oh yeah, and we're going to integrate with SurveyMonkey. So when you send out a survey, you'll know which of your contacts responded and how they responded, and you'll be able to build a set of them and interact with them.
Oh. Well, I'll tell you what. I may put Nimble on the whitelist at this point.
Bring it, baby.
I have been playing with Nimble, and you know that because you saw me log in, and I'm playing with it. I may whitelist Nimble.
It's an exclusive group.
It's an exclusive group of people, and hey, listen, SurveyMonkey, you can't go wrong. Okay, next story. Let's keep the train moving. Oh, the problem you have super intelligent.
Choked up now. Hard to keep going.
Yeah, keep going.
It's become a very emotional twist.
I'm hearing train kept rolling.
Come on, let's keep it moving.
Path is a mobile-only social network designed around photo-centered sharing to a select audience of friends. It launched in late 2010. Sort of failed to gain traction at the time. Many people blamed Instagram, another simple photo-based social app that caught fire right around the same time that Path launched. So now Path has version 2.0. It launched to largely rave reviews, especially about the design and user interface. The new version, it's a complete overhaul, both in terms of design and functionality. Plus, it's also on Android for the first time in addition to iOS. The new features include the Composer button, which lets you create and share content. There's also a greater focus on real-time interaction. So in-app notifications tell you when people are on your profile. You have the ability to see who's listening to what songs when. There's a neighborhood feature to tell you which of your friends is around you at the moment. And there's also, they've extended the upper friend limit. Now you can have 150 contacts instead of just 50. Founder Dave Morin has called the new Path a, quote, personal journal where you capture the intimate moments of your life, and has argued that Facebook and other social networks of the kind are too big, and you can't do that sort of intimate sharing with just your friends there. So most agree the new Path is well designed. Is there room, do you think, in people's lives for a new social network that's based on sharing what you're doing? And what do you think about how this compares to Google Plus and their circles and their take on how to sort of have more intimate, limited contacts?
I have been have you guys played with it?
Yeah.
I mean, it's
beautiful.
Gorgeous. This is one of the best this is one of the best mobile apps ever constructed, and I am not being hyperbolic. Anybody who's working in mobile right now is taking notes. It's incredibly well done, and I got to tell you something. Zuckerberg sees something like this. I mean, this is a true threat to Facebook. I think looking at Path 2.0 for the first time since Google Plus launched, it's clear Facebook is vulnerable. If you have Facebook stock, sell it at the IPO, because I have a feeling that they have not had a viable, competitor until Google Plus, and now this is the second. And Google Plus has the heft of Google, and now you have Path with a beautiful product that solves all the privacy issues and is truly innovative in a way that Facebook is not innovative.
A year ago when Path was offered $100 million,
yeah,
a lot of people said they were nuts for not taking it. But when I see this new app, and I see the way it's bringing things together, it reminds me of Nimble.
Right.
And the idea is that today, it's crazy to go to 7 different places to manage your social life, right?
Yeah.
And so from a consumer perspective, from an individual perspective,
one app to unite them all.
One app that pulls it together, allows you to share where and what and with whom you want,
right, and
to be able to have a more intimate group of people and interact with them in such an elegant way. I like it. I'm going to be spending more time in it. And today, I live in a variety of apps. And one of the things I've been spending a lot of time is in Instagram, right?
Yes.
And so they incorporated the idea of Instagram into here, right? And they've got a little bit of the Facebook or the Foursquare stuff into there. And now I have one place I can share to these different places and have one place for a smaller group of people. I dig it.
Yeah, as a business, I don't like it because I think it's still derivative. I think of it more as like a, hey, the BlackBerry tablet, right?
Yeah.
It was a nice piece of equipment, but not enough to cause people to say, forget about the iPad. Also remember that Facebook is really designed now, I think, very well for commerce. They are essentially a gaming platform, right? That's where most of their revenue
Photos and gaming.
Yeah. but they make money on gaming. Right?
Yeah, that's it. You take out the gaming.
You take out Zynga, you take out Playdom, right?
Right.
You take out all the social gaming and all the social gaming advertising, and it's an uninteresting company.
What percentage do you think of that is of
I'd
their
say
revenue?
about 60% of their revenue is gaming, meaning both the credits as well as just the direct advertising.
Right.
60%. So now, yeah, they can, display ads there now. If you take AOL, MSN, and Yahoo combined, they now have more display ad revenue and market share than those three. So that's interesting, right? They have about 50% more display ad than Google.
The inventory.
Inventory. But
not the revenue, though.
I'm sorry. Yeah, inventory.
Yeah.
But so Path has a lot of the nice and I think superior features to what Facebook has, but none of the monetization capabilities.
Right.
So I could see one thing though, if Facebook's valued at $100 billion, they ought to grab that team, right? And you're right. So take it and say,
not for sale.
Well, who knows?
I don't see
everything's
Dave's
for sale.
got enough Facebook. I don't think so. In this case, I think Dave's got enough Facebook stock from his time there that he's going long. And I heard that one of the high-profile investors, I'm not going to say who, was very, very upset that Dave didn't take the Google deal because he felt like that would have been, a great exit, but as well great for Google to have a viable
I even
Facebook.
Heard that rage. So.
Yeah, like somebody was in a rage over it. The story has spread. I'm not going to say anything because I don't know it firsthand. But there was a rage by a high-profile angel investor in the company who just said, you have to take this deal. Dave didn't. Dave is long because if you want to alienate that guy.
But I respect Dave. He's my kind of guy, right?
He is just relentless on the product, and to put out a product that was so panned initially, and then have the wherewithal, the resiliency to say, I don't give an F.
Me too.
I'm just going to put my head down with my team, and when you see 2.0, just everybody.
You know, a lot.
And you know what? That's what he did. How many people, Scobles, these people, Path is garbage, Path is garbage. And then what happens? Now they can't get enough of it. I got 100 friend requests in the last 24 hours.
Wow.
Just like boom, my email went. Well, that's how I found out there was a new version. I turned on my email, and there were 50 Path friend requests from high-profile people like CEOs and venture capitalists. I said, wait, who, all of a sudden you guys care about Path? And then I look on my phone. Oh, Path's got a 2.0 available. This is big.
I think that there will always be a place for a right new social tool and network because ultimately life and business is social, right? We all, if you think about the whole idea of the message light that you used to get when you got home from that message machine, that AT&T box you plugged into the phone, right?
That was the bill collectors calling you. I hated that.
No, the girls.
Some of us pay our bills, William. Okay, Quig? I'm gonna start calling you Q.
We all live to be heard and touched, right? And so this tool does it in a different way. I go into Facebook, I just don't have that same experience.
Facebook feels like you are being processed. I feel like I'm in a meat grinder and I am just making Zuckerberg rich and that they just want to extract every ounce out of me of my humanity. And then when I come in this, I feel like it wants to enable humanity. And I got to tell you, that is, business is personal. People don't trust Zuckerberg. He can apologize all he wants, settle with the FTC all he wants. The chickens have come home to roost, and one of his own lieutenants is going to be his downfall. This is the Luke Skywalker of apps. Darth Vader's going down. You heard it here first. Next story. Unless Tyler's got some incredible insight about candles or fax machines. Go ahead, Tyler. Tell us what you think, because I see you're very... Tyler,
look out for Pier 1, Facebook, because they're coming with their candlesticks.
My fear is that Facebook really owes a lot to the fact that they monopolized any demographic, a social graphic, a demographic of college students at a place, right? And Path is not taking that approach, right? It's open to anybody.
Right.
My fear is that it's not going to get enough momentum in any particular group to hold on to first. I think that is a critical piece that it would need to work out. No, but you know what? I'm looking through my... Because last time it was like a popcorn fart. It just dissipated into nothing.
Did he say popcorn fart?
Yeah.
I don't even know it. Was that an insight or was that an aside?
The phrase popcorn fart qualifies as an insight. I have to disagree with the director.
Is there such a thing as a popcorn fart?
I mean, I'm sure it's possible.
Are you Googling that?
Has anybody...
Don't Google popcorn.
I am. Wait, there is a popcorn fart in the Urban Dictionary.
Going to the crapper.
A faint, non-smelly fart, hardly worth the effort.
Yeah. There you go.
Is that really what you've used this term before? All right, well, there you go. If you're a member of the TWiST list and you're paying $2 to $10 a month for this program, you just got your money's worth. Now you know what popcorn fart is.
You know, it's easy. You just have people OAuth into the social graph, and you have social discovery. It's so simple for an app to do that.
Yeah, but
they've already done that.
Yeah. But here's the thing: when people write the HBS case on Facebook and why it came apart, there is a thing called overplaying your hand in poker. At a certain point, you just one style of play, you start winning on it, and then it becomes your downfall. And they became very successful by making everybody's stuff public and just letting your friends opt you into groups, right? So if we're all friends on Facebook, I can put all of you guys into Nimble. And guess what? The day the groups came out, they put me, Arrington, and Zuckerberg into Nimble. And that everybody in my circle, including my mom and everybody on Facebook, saw that I joined the National Man-Boy Association of Lovers. It's hysterical. And I wrote, hey, how is this possible that they can let... And then Zuckerberg's incredibly lame answer was, maybe you shouldn't have those people as friends. And then other people get tagged in a photo. And then somebody's... it's like, well, wait a second. This is a childish... Zuckerberg's thoughts on privacy are either incredibly childish and have no conception of what it's like to be married and have a significant other, or it's totally evil. And I think maybe in the beginning it was naivete, and then I think it went to evil and just wanted to keep that growth up. Because let me tell you something, if you're married and then somebody takes a picture, I'm out at an event. All the time, every event I speak at, some girl who's incredibly attractive comes up and says, may I take a picture with you? And then I'm left with this choice. Do I take a picture or not? And then no, I got to be a jerk and not taking a picture with them. I take a picture with them. And then, of course, the whole strip of my Facebook is going to be me with the hot girl from this event, the hot girl from this event. And then my wife's got to see it, her friends got to see it, and they tag me. I don't want to be tagged in these photos.
Mm-hmm. I'm tagged in photos I'm not even in.
Right. No, that's the other thing.
You can turn that off.
Yeah, I know, but then I got to go opt out of it. Yeah. And now what does he do? He writes this big mea culpa. 2 years after I wrote my pieces about, hey, this is not the way to treat users. Mm-hmm. And then I get this angel investor threatening my career because I criticized Zuckerberg. It's a whole other story that'll be chapter 8 of my book. Happens to be the same guy who we hear yelled at Path and Dave Moran. I'm not saying anybody's name.
I have the list of Path angels here on my screen.
I don't need you to do me any favors.
I mean,
but anyway, the point is,
we can deduce this pretty quick.
Point is,
what is the point?
I have no idea. Next story. The point is, there is a point.
Exactly.
The point is that Facebook overplayed their hand, and that by getting everybody, turning the privacy inside out, and thinking they were smart because they had growth, they're alienating the top 25%. And you know what? Who wants to share anything on Facebook? If you share something on Facebook, you know it goes to everybody, and then you got to think, is this something that I want my people I went to? I got people in grammar school, commenting on my stuff. I got my aunts, who I see twice a year commenting on stuff. I got ex-employees. I got haters. I got psychotic people, mentally deranged people, employees, ex-employees. I mean, if you post something on Facebook, it's like putting a billboard out. How many things in your life do you want on a billboard?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's very
Not
few.
many, very few.
I think bringing it back to Path, it's a big market. And anybody can build apps that are this elegant and pivot the way they've done and come back to the market with something this exciting. I think they got a great future.
And it's not the size of the network, Tyler.
I'm not saying it's the size.
Depth. This is
I
where
agree.
This is where you're wrong.
I didn't make a comment about size.
This is where you're wrong, Tyler.
I'll make your
Tyler,
I'll make
wrong,
your point
Tyler.
better than you are right now.
You think it's about the size of the network. It's about the depth of the network and the deep relationships.
Exactly.
Why are you obsessed with the growth and the size of the network?
I'm not. They're mimicking Japan. It's called Mixi. And in Mixi, it's very real relationship. That's why Facebook can't penetrate Japan. Right. And Dave knows this because he worked at Facebook and he couldn't penetrate Japan, so he's copying what he couldn't defeat in Japan.
That was the lesson.
I know it very well what he's doing.
It's like a popcorn fart in Japan.
He can't get, it's like a sushi fart. He can't get
Inside Tyler.
Until you get a critical... Mixie was able to get real people being friends to happen.
It's intimacy that is real, not faux social networking. Facebook is fake social networking. Who the hell cares what you're listening to on Spotify? That flood of Spotify on the right-hand side, and then people what they're reading on Washington Post. I don't care. There's nothing that you read on the Washington Post that is worth sharing.
They really messed that up, because if I'm like, oh, Jason's reading this article from The Guardian, that sounds interesting, I don't get taken to the article, I get taken to, oh, you want to read something on The Guardian, you should install the Guardian app
and
on
that's
Facebook,
another example of them.
Spotify. You can't
that's them overplaying their hand. All Facebook cares about is churning you. And Path and Dave Moran cares about your intimate, deep relationships with other people.
To play devil's advocate for a second here, though, you've been saying this for a long time. People have been voicing these concerns about Facebook for a long time. The audience is still there. It doesn't really seem to be having a long-term impact on Facebook.
Their growth has topped out in the United States and the UK. They've had down months in terms of growth, in terms of user growth.
I mean, couldn't just be everybody's
they have reached everybody. And what happens when you reach everybody? And people don't want to play Farmville anymore. Down. It's going to go down.
Where goes social gaming, I think so goes Facebook.
And where goes photos? Right?
Well, photos I see as an enduring piece, but photos aren't revenue.
Photos aren't revenue, but photos are a big part of their engagement and traffic. And guess what? Instagram, your mobile. I'm sorry, how many times have anybody here loaded the Facebook mobile app? Anybody load it today? Who loaded it today?
Today.
The app.
No.
Anybody load it this week?
No.
I'm daily on the...
Anybody load the Facebook app except for not counting logging into another service, like authenticating?
I use the Facebook mobile app daily, yes.
I don't.
I
Anybody?
check,
I use it more than I use...
I do too. I use the Facebook mobile app.
I don't even use it. I use Instagram and...
The real question is, do you know of a developer that's using Facebook Connect?
Nobody, I don't think that piece is going away. I think they got authenticated.
And that's why Facebook's not going away.
But the engagement inside of Facebook could collapse. I think that it's a house of cards. Social gaming and, the sort of updates, it could all, entire families could say, you know what, we're not sharing our baby photos on Facebook anymore. Everybody move over here. And you know what? I got my mom and dad an iPhone, and my sister-in-law, I started getting everybody on Path. And those photos are all the kid photos are moving off of Facebook and onto Path. And you know what? I'm not the only one.
Yeah.
Who wants to share their kids' photos and put them on a billboard? I don't want to put London on. Damn it.
$10.
Does the second one also count?
I didn't have a second one. If I mouth it, it doesn't count. God.
We spent the last hour hoping we were going to get extra.
Next story.
Swedish streaming music service Spotify held a big event this week to introduce a new platform for third-party developers. Rolling Stone, Last.fm, Songkick, Billboard, Pitchfork.
You know what? Next story. I don't care.
Don't care? All right.
Sorry. Who cares about Spotify?
Fair enough. Do you want to do more about Facebook and their massive IPO plans?
Yes. That's
Facebook now targeting its IPO for between April and June 2012, hoping to value the company at more than $100 billion.
I want to hear what Will thinks of this.
The company apparently hopes to raise $10 billion in the IPO. It's one of the largest offerings in history. By far, it would be the largest tech IPO in history. Google raised $1.7 billion in 2004.
At a $40 billion market cap.
Okay, hold on a second. I'm trying to get my head around this. $10 billion. Where does that money come from? Are there enough retail investors or, people, the Fidelities of the world who don't already own shares of
This thing will
Facebook?
be oversubscribed 20 to 1.
Where does all that money come from?
There is so much money sitting in cash right now. Trillions of dollars in this world.
So everybody says, I have to own Facebook.
In fact, it'll be, if you are talking about the retail investors and even the private wealth managers, the investment banks, who get hit up on every time there's a really good IPO. Why didn't you get me into this IPO?
Right.
I mean, the allocation here is going to be so sought after, and it's just because it's a trophy company.
Just like everybody bought it in second market, and then all these VCs put it on their investment page, even though they bought it in the secondary market.
Right.
Did you do that?
God, no. And I think
what
that's
do you think of VCs who do that?
I think it's really lame. right? It's really lame. I mean, the whole idea of where you put your little, your skins, if you will, which companies you did.
Yeah.
I've always felt
skins. Yeah, they hide us, John.
Yeah. If you
they should what they call it, scalping. Yeah, the scalps. Where do you put your shrunken heads of entrepreneurs?
But if you're, I can't talk about that.
Yes.
That's the partner room. But if you're going to invest in a company in the secondary market, that's not real venture capital, right? That's just you're being a capitalist. Okay, but don't put it in.
That's like buying it off of your E-Trade account at this point.
Right. So don't put it there, right?
But they do.
But they do. I know, and to me, it's kind of silly.
It's annoying.
So Facebook, I think, will be the most popular tech IPO of all time. I think that's easy to believe if you're going to sell 10 billion in stock. And what will be interesting to see is how much insiders sell at that. Usually, if you're an insider, if you own the stock, you're on the board, to try to sell at the IPO is verboten. In this case, there'll be so much demand. The company's going to say, we don't need more than 10 billion. If there's that much more demand, hey, all you guys who own the rest of the stock, why don't you sell some?
Wait a second. But if you're Zuckerberg, do you think there's a chance, if there's that much demand, he says, you know what? I'll take 20 billion in cash.
I think that
and
usually...
And what would that do to have an Apple, well, not Apple's got 60 billion in cash, I think, but to have a Microsoft, Google level of cash on hand for that young of a company?
It's incredibly valuable to have that much cash on hand because at the end of the day, no matter who you are, if you're selling your company, the cash offers are pretty darn attractive. You're not taking stock risk, whatever. And if Facebook, by the way, they're going to have to build a biz dev team that's going to be as big as Google's because they are going to want to keep themselves at the tip of the spear, meaning being the most important tech company of this era. To do that, they're going to have to be buying talent because post that IPO,
20, 30 companies a year.
Post that IPO. People are, the company's been around long enough, 8 years, 9 years,
7, 8, 9 years.
Most of the people are going to be significantly vested. So post that IPO, lots of guys are going to cash out. They're going to need to buy talent.
And speaking of the guys who are going to cash out, I think one of the big things is it's going to be like the PayPal mafia, right?
Yeah.
So you're going to have a group of talent that are going to go out and start some incredible companies.
Yeah.
Right.
It's already happened. Quora and Path.
But even more so.
Sean Parker,
and
Sean Parker worth 3 or 4 billion now. Chamath worth 2 billion.
Yeah.
I mean, these guys are my friends. I mean, I worked with Chamath at AOL.
Or there'll be new VC. Right?
Yeah,
well, Chamath started his own fund now, and Chamath's fund is Chamath just said I'll put 200 million of my money in the fund, and I'll take 200 million of my friend's money.
Yeah.
I mean, he did a fund without having LPs you have to go fight with CalPERS or pension plans. He's just no, I'll just make 5 phone calls and have a $400 million fund.
And in many ways, he might be it remains to be seen, but often entrepreneurs like the idea of being funded by someone who they can identify more closely.
Of course, Chamath's going to become one of the 10 most important VCs, I predict.
Yeah.
Because he's got the credibility. And he's got the relationship with Zuckerberg. At any point in time, he can say, Zuck, meet me for coffee or fresh or come over the house, and I want you to meet this entrepreneur. That's invaluable. Who's got Zuckerberg's ear other than Cheryl, who works for the company, Chamath, Sean Parker? There's only 2 or 3 people who can get him to come for coffee anytime.
And Zuckerberg's going to be worth 24 billion when this IPO happens, which is no small change.
Yes. It's going to be, but by the way, for all the entrepreneurs out there listening, this is terrific news. Having another buyer at the table.
Absolutely. Hey, by the way, Chamath is coming on the program in January. That's going to be a great episode. Next story.
You want to talk about Zynga? Also IPO news from Zynga? Or?
I think we're Zynga, Facebook, Spotify out. Let's go to the next one.
Fair enough. So Google, we'll talk about Google, teaming with online retailers to launch a standardized way to ship goods along the lines of Amazon Prime. Sources say that Google is becoming concerned with users searching for products directly on Amazon rather than going through the search engine. The new offering will use Google's existing product search, which is currently called Google Shopping, and combine it with a backend that shows shoppers what's in stock and how fast they can get it, offering same-day or next-day delivery. Retailers rumored to be involved in the debut offering include Macy's, The Gap, and OfficeMax, and it could also include a partnership with shipping companies, maybe UPS. Google hopes to launch sometime next year. So
now, wait a second. I don't understand this. They're going to offer logistics, as in warehousing and shipping of stuff?
Basically, it's an interface. You search for a product in Google. It shows you here are some retailers that have it, and you can buy and arrange it to be shipped to you all through Google without going to these retailers. Google's not selling it to you. They're just the marketplace.
Interesting.
I'm yawning.
Yeah. This is another example, though, of Google doing too much? Like, they really want to compete with Amazon? I don't get it.
I've been in the shopping experience, and it's less than fulfilling. Yeah. Amazon has trust. Right. My wife's in there. She does the Christmas shopping. It's easy. She knows.
It's 90% of our shopping in our house now is Amazon.
Yeah, and you go into the Google shopping area, and it just feels wrong, and the things just don't come up right. And I can't see other people talking about it, and
yeah, the reviews don't feel right, and it's like all these weird third parties to fulfill it. I wouldn't trust any of them.
You know, entrepreneurs do this all the time, where they look at something, they can't quite figure out why it's successful, and they say, it must be because they use these colors on their website. Yeah. It must be because, they've got this $75 a year a la Amazon free shipping coupon. Yeah. You know what? That's what we'll do. And it's like saying, I'm going to...
But it's not. It's the trust in the Amazon brand.
It's, go when I worked at Disney, right? It's like, we'll make an animated movie. How do you do it? You get these cells, Wow, why aren't our movies selling like Disney? Well, there's a lot that goes into it that's subtle, right?
Right.
I think this is very much what Google's going to find out. It's an engineering solution to dealing with a very powerful brand.
This is basically Google null. Prepare for it to be shut down in 36 months.
I think that Google's crown jewel is its search, right?
Right.
And the money they generate off that. And AdWords...
How's that doing?
Yeah, I think that they've been struggling a little bit with that. And I think that the whole AdWord thing and enabling small businesses to effectively market their company, whether it's through AdWords or through social, because social marketing is so powerful today. Sure. If they could truly harness that effectively and enable small businesses to capture those leads and actually do something with it, like feed them into Nimble and actually be able to turn their social communities and customers to life, that's a business, right? But going into shopping, it's sort of, okay, they're afraid of the people searching in Amazon and they're not searching in Google. I still search in Google.
Right.
Yeah. We're all going to continue to do that.
Yeah.
This goes back to the point that every company in a point in time has a value.
Right.
And you do everything you can to retain that value. And every once in a while you find another mountain to climb that's really, really important. It's tangential to what you were doing. But most of the time you don't. I think at the end of the day, Google is a great search engine, right? It was the fifth or sixth one. They did a great job. They jacked the Overture model. They made a lot of money. And everything else, it's kind of a
Gmail, Google+.
All useful, but not standalone great company making things. They're just additive to the main product.
But I think they need to focus on their crown jewel.
I agree with that.
I think everybody agrees with that. Android, obviously, is probably the next big, huge thing they did right. Yeah. And could become another product line that is in some way, I don't know, as additive as search.
You know what? My experience on the Android, and I bought one, and
it's a horrible user experience.
Exactly. There's no control of it reminds me of the Windows Phone or even Windows apps because there's no
load the task manager and kill processes because your battery's dying. Really, I want to do that.
The biggest thing is they need to give the developers a consistent UI development tool so that the apps feel and look like they belong in the same universe, right? Yeah. And the whole shopping experience, we actually shop for apps, it's
a disaster.
It is.
It's an unmitigated disaster.
So those are the two big things.
They're activating so many more phones than the iPhone that they're doing something right, which is $100
really,
free price.
Right, I mean, every carrier wants to do a slightly different vanilla, flavor of it.
Yeah, that's the big thing.
Right,
it's Google's way of kicking Apple in the nuts.
No, let's talk about this because this is really. Can I say pisses me off?
Yeah.
No, it doesn't cost me money.
None of the 7 dirty words.
Okay. So
don't call William the C word.
Yeah, please.
Again.
Just in general.
Capitalist.
Again. From that.
Venture. I like that. So that's what the C in venture capital is.
If you buy an Android.
You're a venture C word.
If you buy an Android and they come out with a new one, you did. You can't upgrade it. You know? That kills me.
I think Google's launching their own phone. That's why they bought Motorola. The patents, and I think they're going to have soup to nuts.
If they can do that, I think they're going to be much better off.
Yeah, it'll be a soup to nuts solution. And I predict Microsoft's going to do it because you know what? These two companies, Google and Microsoft, and even Facebook, this whole thing of being a platform and not building a soup to nuts solution, they have to get over it.
Yeah, you know what Microsoft's going to do? They're going to buy RIM. It's perfect for them.
Perfect, yes. Put it with Exchange and boom.
Steve, are you out there?
Guaranteed. It's a lock.
Buy RIM.
Absolutely. buy RIM, and then you give away all these phones for free. Yeah. You get all these email users. Brilliant.
It's so corporate. It's perfect.
Perfect. And the value is like, RIM's going down to nothing. I've been saying, like, this is my last BlackBerry. Like, and it's almost like, I feel like I'm a hospice like guy where like I've got this cancer patient, my BlackBerry, and I'm waiting for it to die, and I'm just getting ready for the death of it. You too, come on. This thing, how many times does your BlackBerry break? The stupid thumb thing, how many times does it like crash, or you're trying to read a web page, somebody sends you a link, and you click on it, and you're like, my God, when is this?
Beyond all those things, I will say the reason I am feeling compelled to do it is because, because I'm feeling a little bit like the guy who gives you the AOL email address now when I hold a BlackBerry.
It's status.
It's status. Yeah.
You're old school.
I think it's the wrong status.
Girl.
I like that. I like that.
That's the status you don't want. No, I take out my BlackBerry, and some people look at me and they're like, you don't use an iPhone? I'm like, no, I have both, obviously.
When I pull it out,
you have an iPhone too, I bet.
The young girls say to me, oh, how are your grandkids?
Right, exactly.
Wow. They know you have money.
What's up? You have an iPhone too? You carry both?
I do carry both.
But that's the thing is, I'm trying to find a guy, all the people I know who have BlackBerries have an iPhone in their other pocket.
Yeah.
And
if they have to make
have
a
you
call.
started? Yeah, exactly. Have you started using?
That's exactly right.
And you have your email on your iPhone, and you have your email on your BlackBerry. How often are you now reading your emails in your iPhone and then responding on your BlackBerry?
I don't know how often I do that, but I've got utilities, right? All the apps, of course, it's the iPhone.
You just don't like the keyboard.
Texting, I do principally the iPhone. When I need to do an email,
you take out your BlackBerry.
And I write page-long emails.
Right.
I take out the BlackBerry.
Yeah.
Did you guys hear about
that? That's why, and there. Now
Having said that,
now you know why people hate venture capitalists, because they actually will write a 3-page email on their BlackBerry.
That's sick.
It's true. It's true. And they have to go read that. Let's do a final story. Come on, lightning round.
We got off the Google thing, which was the main point. The one, and there's plenty of negative things to say why Google shouldn't and couldn't do it. The Amazon competition thing, right? The one thing they do have is you're in Google's ecosystem, and they know what you're searching because they have your browser. It's like constantly being in Amazon. Amazon, you have to go to Amazon for it to be effective, for them to know what your intents are, what you saw, whatever. Google knows what your intent is on every page you go to.
Yeah, still not enough. I mean, if I was in my Gmail, I'm assuming you're correct. If it just showed me on the right-hand side, like, oh, here are, humane mice-killing traps, which is the last thing I bought on Amazon, was an electric killer of mice, because we have all these field mice, and they're starting to come into the house sometimes. And I went to Amazon, did my research there, and all that stuff. If I happen to see them because my wife emailed me that we need a rat trap or a mouse trap, and I happen to see them on the side, I would click on it, and then I would go over to Amazon.
The big thing about Amazon,
because I trust Amazon.
That's it. That's it. Because it's like Zappos with shoes, right? Yep. It's the operations. They control the operation, so when you order it, you're going to get it. I never order from the companies in Amazon that are the sub-companies.
Neither do I.
Right?
It has to be Prime or I'm out. I'm out. If it doesn't say we'll ship by Prime, I'm out.
Because you could trust it. So there's 2 things to make a successful company on the web. A, operations. You got to deliver the goods.
The product.
Right? But B, you got to have a user experience that's delightful, right? And Amazon it's delightful. The UI is great. And I'm sorry. I mean, I go into Google anything, and the UI...
They're getting better. I have to say, they're trying. And the fact that they've even changed it is a huge difference. I mean,
I agree with all John's points. The point I'm making is you're not going to have to leave the page that you're on to go leave to Amazon. The product that you would have gone to Amazon to go get. Well,
what Google wants, this is in front of Google's.
Yeah, but then I got to trust the different stores, Macy's and everybody else to deliver. Have you been into Macy's lately? Yeah. You can't even find somebody to help you.
Marissa, it's painful. I mean, going into retail is painful.
Nordstrom's, just go to Nordstrom's.
We went to Target the other day. Tyler and I went around the corner to Target.
I love Target.
It's amazing. But anyway, just the humanity in there is just like, just seas of people, and who wants to deal with that when you can take out your Kindle Fire, your Amazon, your iPhone? Tyler was telling me.
It's not bad if you bring tear gas, actually.
Exactly.
Pepper spray.
Next story. Come on, next story. So when Tyler starts cracking the joke.
Carrier IQ and some handset manufacturers have had class action lawsuits filed against them. Carrier IQ is a mobile intelligence firm. They provide logging software for carriers. So
what the hell is this?
The pitch is they can deliver information on how the mobile device and networks are performing, charming and it helps operators, maximize efficiency. That's what they're saying publicly.
But it's a keylogger?
But apparently, they've been collecting and tracking data far more fine-tuned than you'd need for any of these diagnostic studies. People are alleging that they're recording and collecting information about the substance and meaning of electronic communications.
Okay. It's a keylogger. Hang on. Are you telling me that there's keyloggers on phones?
It's all alleged right now. The company is denying it. Carrier IQ is saying they don't do any of these things. They're saying they don't record, store, or transmit contents of SMS or email or photos or audio or video.
I have 3 letters for you. NSA.
CIA. It's over, man. All of our freedom is gone. WTF. Holy Jesus. They have put keyloggers on everybody's phones. The hackers found out about it. Let me tell you something. This is a message to my legions at Anonymous. I give you permission to unleash hell on whoever put this goddamn keylogger on everything. Release the Kraken, destroy these people. Am I going to have some culpability if Anonymous now results in hacking people? Anonymous, I would like you to find...
movement, so you're the unofficial leader.
I have no leadership capabilities, but I am sending a message to my friends at Anonymous. Whoever created this, whoever is responsible, destroy them, destroy their lives, destroy their families' lives, burn their houses to the ground, everything but that last part.
Don't burn any houses.
Don't burn any houses to the ground. But seriously, this is what Anonymous was made for. When these bastards do this to us, it is your job, Anonymous. When the CIA and the court system is not going to protect individuals, this is a job for Anonymous. Go destroy these people and their lives, please. Could I be any more clear?
I think that's
This is the only way to deal with it. These people are taking our rights.
Have taken.
They have taken them already.
Yeah.
They took our rights. I mean, who the hell gives these people the right to keylog our goddamn phones?
AT&T, Sprint, HTC, and Samsung.
I don't give a I really don't. It's 2. I'm putting 20 in.
Just put them in.
I just don't care. You can't.
It's righteous indignation. Even iTunes should understand
God damn it. I mean, and where is Obama on all this? And where are the people we elected to protect us?
Well, Senator Al Franken. He's requested that Carrier IQ spell out more specifically what they are and aren't able to do.
And you know it's true. It's true. They're logging it and they're saying this is like Google Analytics or something. It's bull.
All I would say is this: as more and more of our life becomes digitized, right, and as it becomes cheaper and cheaper and cheaper to get that through wireless or some other platform, this is an inevitability, right? It's just the way it has to be, right? For what you don't already put on Facebook gladly,
right
now. Companies are collecting it in many, many other ways.
It has to be stopped.
It
has to be stopped, and we need to.
I want to give you an anecdote. So I lost my password to get into my online banking. Right, a few days ago, couldn't get on the online banking. I said, "Darn it, what do I do?" Oh, I'll just go in, say I lost the password. Then it said, "Oh, use this 8-digit code that's on your ATM card." Well, I lost my ATM card, so I can't do that.
Go to Bank of America.
So I call. It's late at night. I go on. I get the operator, and I go through it. And eventually, they say, "We can't do it. We can't do it." Okay. Well, here's some questions we have for you. And the first question was pretty simple. Where did you live? Da da da. Then it was, you have how many sisters? I don't remember ever telling them I had sisters. And I said, well, I'll tell you how many sisters I have. I have 3 sisters. Okay. What cities do 2 of the 3 live in?
Oh my God.
Whoa.
And I said, I didn't know that you guys would know that. And they said, yeah. There were 5 questions. Those were 2 of the questions.
How did they know that? Did they have accounts with that bank?
You know what? If you've ever done anything, skip tracing, any kind of credit evaluation, it's very easy to find.
Okay, now there's that
So
stuff.
there you go.
But it's getting goddamn ridiculous, is what I have to say, because it's just ridiculous now. That kind of stuff has now led to, we will put a keylogger on your phone, and the whole thing with the goddamn map software that the Apple denied, right? Remember that thing where they were tracking where your phone was? The police now can just, without a warrant, track your phone. This is not America. We have to. This is getting serious. It's unbelievable.
It's all to help the people.
This is not to help people. This is to take our basic civil liberties. I opt out of that goddamn X-ray machine because the doctor said online that if that X-ray machine that you go through at the LAX, where they scan your nutsack, God damn it, and they said if that thing gets bumped in shipping and it gets uncalibrated, that it could be serious X-rays. So I opt out of it. And then every goddamn time I opt out of it, I gotta have my nuts slammed 3 effing times. The guy's like this, bang, bang, up, every time. I can't take it anymore. I mean, this is America. Keylogging your phone, tracking your map. I mean, what is next?
What if you knew that it was what if you knew?
Can't take it anymore.
That it stopped a nuclear attack on America because
I don't care. You know what? Blow the effing place up. I don't want my nuts getting smacked by some guy at the airport.
They're not going to bomb Bakersfield.
I can't take it anymore, though. I mean, what has happened that these companies feel they can run over consumers? There has to be some goddamn culpability. Whoever these people are, they need to be arrested. They need to go to jail. They need to be fined in a serious way. I mean, people are running amok over civil liberties, and it's gotten goddamn ridiculous. From the pepper spray to people's faces to, we become a goddamn police state. It has to stop.
Spotify is a really good app.
They're adding, it's becoming a platform. Are you an investor?
No, but I'm serious. Like, I'm a goddamn capitalist. I want everybody to make money. But we've gotten to the point of this isn't even about making money. Like, what money are they making from keylogging us? What don't you know about me to target ads to me? I gave you all my information on Facebook. You know who I am. You know where I live. You know my searches. You know what's in my goddamn Gmail.
They don't know your girlfriend.
I'm married. What are you talking about my girlfriend?
That's what I'm saying.
Girls on Facebook.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, how much more do they need to know to target an ad to me? There's no justification anymore for breaking people's civil liberties, and we have to get this under control. I mean, I sort of you guys have watched the program. You've been with me from the beginning. I mean, it's just over 2 years of discussing this very topic. Does it not feel like it's out of control in the last 6 months?
It is. I mean, it's been ramping up over the past, I think, 2 years we've been doing the show?
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, our old privacy discussions were like, oh, wow, Facebook is telling people how old I am, and that's a little weird. And now it's that companies I've never heard of are listening to my phone conversations or reading my text messages. I mean, that's obviously the next level.
Or the map is, your map coordinates are being stored.
There's another story this week. Wikileaks has now discovered that a bunch of Western companies, American companies, were helping some of these Middle Eastern dictatorships in Egypt and Libya.
Bring me their names.
They were helping them to spy on their own people.
To torture them.
Right, to round them up, find out who the dissidents are.
This is just getting...
We have a history of that. I mean, we did it in Chile.
But the lead gen on those people was like 100%.
Oh, man, you know what, William?
You tell them one Groupon getaway, it's home.
Yeah, exactly. You know what? We did torture the hell out of that guy, but he did buy 3 massages after we tortured him.
Yes.
So, you know what? The ROI's been amazing. No, I mean, seriously. If you are one of these companies...
Alcatel-Lucent, Nokia Siemens, HP, Northrop Grumman, and more were named.
Kill yourselves. The CEOs of these companies, I hope that Anonymous hacks your goddamn email address and takes all of the sadistic, whatever last ounce of privacy you have, CEO of these companies that are guilty. I hope it all comes out from Anonymous, and I hope that you're held to the fire, just like these people were held and tortured in the Middle East. You should be ashamed of yourself. Kill yourselves. I am furious. I am furious. Sorry, William.
So Google Plus Hangouts, you want to talk about that next?
Yeah, sure. At this point, how do we go from the U.S. companies, technology companies, how do we go from U.S. technology companies aiding and abetting the torture of freedom fighters, true, freedom fighting, people fighting for democracy, and American companies doing this? If this is true, this is so shameful. Those people need to go to jail. And I'm not joking in any way. If you helped a dictatorship, I mean, why are we sending troops over to fight for effing freedom if then the American companies are trying to capitalize on taking those people's rights away? What message are we sending to the Middle East? We're going to send our troops in there to kill the dictators, and then we're going to give the dictators software to spy on these people to then capture them and torture them?
Jason, nothing has changed.
What?
Listen to this. There is a legally elected, democratically elected president in Iran in the 50s. And he didn't want to sign a contract with the oil companies. Mm-hmm. So guess what? The CIA went out and took him out.
Yep.
Okay?
Yep.
So, the guy who was running the CIA in the early 60s, his brother was running Banana Fruit, whatever the fruit company is. United Fruit.
You know, John, don't drag me into this because I don't want to get killed by some CIA guy.
No, the guy running United Fruit was his brother was head of the CIA, and guess what countries the CIA was going into and knocking out the dictators to get control? You know, when I was a kid, they taught me about America, that we were actually a great place, that we did great things for people, and I believed that as a kid. And when I was in high school, I went to an alternative high school where they actually taught us what they were doing in Chile. And my eyes were opened up. But I still believe in the promise of this country. But what we've got to do is take those leaders of the businesses and our government who are taking our country over the coals and get back to what we truly can be and what our promise is and show the world that America can be what it is.
Yeah, it's got to stop. I mean, and this is, you know what? Everybody makes fun of the Occupy movement, a bunch of hippies, everybody getting stoned, a bunch of dirty tents, whatever. All may be true. But you know what? They have a point. Yeah. And you know what? These companies are running amok. And it's ridiculous because they're making so much money that last 2, 3, 4, 5% that comes. I mean, what is the selling to the dictator, if this is all true, we don't know. But if selling to that dictator, is that adding 1%? Of course it's true. But anyway, we don't know.
The Wikileaks one, I mean, they have pretty compelling documentation.
What possible percentage of revenue could it be? 0.1%? 0.2%? CEO of these companies, is it worth selling your soul and knowing that other people are being captured and rounded up and tortured? Is it worth it really for that 0.1%, 0.2% growth?
I think we've had a situation in America where we've just trained people to think for so long that America is business is America. What's good for big corporations is good for Americans. And people just don't question it. It's class warfare to question, or it's anti-capitalist or socialist to question what these big companies do.
These big companies, if this is true, and these CEOs, they need to be fired. And then they need to, because you know what? At least. And there's got to be some international law against doing this. I mean, we are supposed to stand for freedom in this country. And if you're selling tools that are being used that way, that's just not right. It's just not right. It's disgusting. It really is disgusting. It makes me sick to know that technology companies, which, you know what, the whole tech industry was supposed to liberate people and empower them. And for you to do this, it's truly disgusting. I don't care how much money you're making. It's disgusting.
You know, back to Spotify for a second.
Yes.
I am pretty impressed. I am pretty impressed.
Yeah, it's like, there's a lot of gravitas on this episode.
That, you know, the best invention Facebook had, even more than maybe its original social network, was Facebook Connect. The fact that Spotify has, since September, has increased our membership by 12 million users.
It's unbelievable.
Is really impressive. Yeah?
It's a great product. I love Spotify. I love Spotify. And you know what? Spotify not killing any freedom fighters around the world.
I think they need more social sharing in Spotify. I think they need to make it easier to discover other people's lists.
What are you talking about? It's overwhelming. No. I really don't care about all the Barry Manilow that Tyler's listening to.
No, I'm not talking about him. I don't give a shit. Listen to this
$10. There you go. Take it out. All right, listen. We're going to end the show now. This has been a great episode.
We need to talk about Siri not being able to find abortion clinics. Man, there was so much this week.
All right, what was that?
You want to hear that one?
Just really quick.
So apparently Siri, if you asked it where nearby to get an abortion or where there was an abortion clinic, it wouldn't turn up any results, even though it does turn up results for a lot of outlandish things or related things.
Where can I get an abortion right now?
No,
I did it.
Oh, really?
I don't see any abortion clinics. Sorry about that.
Right.
When was the last time you saw in the phone book the word abortion clinic, though?
Well, right. So what the explanation was? The explanation was Planned Parenthood considers it it's a family planning center. That's how they're listed in Yelp.
Where can I find a Planned Parenthood? I understand.
And Siri's just pulling from Yelp. However, a lot of people.
You have 20.
A lot of people, I think, have rightly pointed out they did curate Siri. So if you ask it for where to find condoms, it knows look for a drugstore. If you ask it where to bury a body, it has a funny answer where it asks for swamps.
If you ask it where to get a sexual act done on you.
Right, it has an answer.
It gives you escorts.
So I think a lot of feminist bloggers and other people rightly pointed out, well, how come they knew to look ahead to all of these other incidental things that might happen, but not
I think it's a fringe case. And now, did they fix it? If you ask where can I get an abortion?
They've apologized and they said they are working to fix it. I don't think they've pushed a fix yet.
Just, by the way, I think 8,000 people who own phones in Alabama just canceled their iPhones.
Probably.
I mean, basically, everybody in the South now is not going to, you can tell how this is going. We're going to have like one of these knucklehead preachers holding up an iPhone saying, the iPhone will make you get an
abortion machine.
It's an abortion. Oh.
God gay.
Well, but I thought the interesting thing about that story is...
The iPhone will make you gay and will make you get an abortion.
Now take away your gun.
Exactly.
Get all in there.
The iPhone is you're going to hell. Get an Android phone if you get an Android phone.
What accent that is.
No, seriously, I'm going to start a religion. We talked about that. All right, listen. This has been an amazing episode. I don't know what got accomplished. Thank you to @MailChimp. Thank you to @SurveyMonkey. Thank you, William Quigley, venture capitalist extraordinaire. Hey, Jon, great job with Nimble.com. Really enjoying the product. Tyler Crowley, what an incredible sidekick you are with all those great insights. Thank you so much. My Robin to my Batman.
Tyler,
that's it. He's my Aquaman to my Superman. He's my. What are you? Like? You're my Abbott to my Costello. What are you, Tyler? What's like a good sidekick?
I'm thinking more of the.
Oh, how about the guy who's James Bond's gadget
I'm
guy?
thinking more Laurel and Hardy.
Q.
He's your Q?
He's my Q. He's like my Q. He always Anyway, whatever. Hey, Lon Harris, great job reading the news, bringing us all back to reality. What a great job you're doing over at Ranker.com. Thank you so much. Hey, thanks to the crew for having a flawless episode. And to the people who are trampling on our civil rights, Anonymous is coming. I've given them permission. You're effed. Did you put the $10 in here, by the way?
Yeah.
Awesome. If you put it in, that's great. We have about $200. We're going to buy about 3 kegs. We'll see you all next time on This Week in Startups. Thanks for tuning in.
Fun. Then
it happens every now and then. You know, when you get on the civil liberties thing. After show. Mike can go back over there. With that?
4 or 5 stars.
It was.
You know, Jason, a lot of times when people talk about privacy,
yeah.
what I tell them is that privacy is
the mics are back up.
Privacy is a new thought that is sort of a 20th century thing. But if you think about it, if you go back 100 years, we were all in small towns, right?
Yes.
And everybody knew when everybody was doing who or taking a crap or whatever you did, right?
Yeah.
So there is, I mean, in that sense, there is no, quote, privacy. But when they can go into your house and look at your stuff that you don't necessarily share with the public, that's where it sort of is a boundary, right?
Yeah. And this is part of it. Like, I mean, the technology exists now to violate all of your rights. Mm-hmm. And these companies who make the technology, who build it, have a higher responsibility now, which is you've been entrusted with the ability to record everything. It's never existed before. You know, the fact that every keystroke can be recorded on here means you need to make it not only, you have to block the ability for people to keylog, not just not keylog yourself, let alone keylog yourself.
And there's a lot of, you know, when it comes to these discussions of civil liberties, you get into a lot of elements of this that aren't obvious, and a big problem with anything like this, because you can easily say, oh, you don't have to use Siri or you don't have to use the phone, but what happens inevitably is there's a gradual degrading of respect for the right because it's being attacked so often. And you see this, cops, for instance, right? I mean, we pay them, right? They're our employees, right? They're society's employees, obviously,
they're here
right?
to work